breaking news from the head station.
Breaking news! Photosynthesis, cellular respiration are in danger of becoming extinct. Let's get back to Lindsay at the plaza.
We're back at the plaza, and chaos is already erupting. We sent anchors out to interview some nearby bystanders.
The world is ending! The world isn't real! Everything is gonna die!
Okay, can you compare and contrast the metabolic processes of photosynthesis and cellular respiration?
Absolutely. Photosynthesis is where plants take sunlight and transfer it into energy, which makes food for people and animals to eat. It also makes food for the flowers to bloom and produce other seeds. I'm rambling.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
It also produces oxygen that animals breathe. And respiration is where animals take in the oxygen and use it for metabolic processes. And then they exhale carbon dioxide, which the plants use in photosynthesis.
Wait, also, how would you feel if both of these were depleted?
Dead.
Actually, photosynthesis is the process by which green plants create their own food by turning light energy into chemical energy. It takes place in the chloroplasts of plant cells. Meanwhile, cellular respiration is the process by which living things convert oxygen and glucose to carbon dioxide. Cellular respiration is carried out in the mitochondria. Only plants perform photosynthesis, while both plants and animals perform cellular respiration.
Who is Gibbs? And what is the equation for Gibbs free energy?
Gibbs doesn't exist because existence is an illusion.
Thank you for your answer.
Actually, Gibbs free energy can be related to the metabolic processes of cellular respiration and photosynthesis, and that free energy is stored during the formation of ATP from ADP, which are both directly involved with each process.
Are you guys ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is a redox reaction? And how would it affect the metabolic process if it were to be depleted in the next 50 years?
I don't know.
Honestly,
what you just said.
if I was to give you an honest answer,
Tell him, Carter. I don't know. Hold on. Let me try and answer it. Let me see the question. What is a redox reaction? All right, redox. Is redox like something in the moon?
No, it deals with Earth.
Oh, so it's on the Earth.
It's a reaction
It's a reaction.
that happens to.
Oh, metabolic reaction. Oh, I think I learned about that.
Oh, that's your metabolism.
I think I learned about
That's
that.
your metabolism. All right, if we just make it like easier words, I can explain.
Somebody had like
All
a
right,
cue card back
all
there.
right. So you get skinny and fat. That's the difference. Isn't your metabolism you get skinny and fat? Isn't that right? My metabolism is low, so I'm chunky.
Okay, so Jimmy, what is a redox reaction and how does it apply to a metabolic process?
I'm pretty sure like the oxygen is like taken and like is reduced, right? Because it's like reduced and it's oxidized.
Okay, my second question.
This is a whole AP bio test.
Yes,
Like,
you ready? You ready?
first question.
Okay, if the sun was to completely just go blank, how would that affect our life?
We'd be alive for 7 more minutes.
Okay.
What is a redox reaction and how would it affect this situation?
Well, the redox reaction is when electrons are transferred from one compound to another. And so in cellular respiration and all that, electrons are very important in creating ATP and ADP. So if redox reactions don't happen, then neither does that.
Redox reactions are chemical reactions that transfer electrons from one substance to another. This is a form of double replacement reactions and displacement, sorry. And there's two types, oxidation and reduction. Oxidation is a loss of electrons and reduction is a gain of electrons. So Mr. Brandon.
Yes, ma'am.
What would be your outtake if photosynthesis and cell respiration were depleted in the next
I would think we'd have a hard time living here without photosynthesis and cellular respiration. I would think the planet would look a lot like Mars.
Okay, good information for our astronomers out there.
Thank you.
How would energy transformations be affected if both cellular respiration and photosynthesis were depleted? And what's your opinion on that situation?
Oh boy. Well, when we talk about transformations, we have to talk about transformers. And Optimus Prime was this big giant robot that would transform into a truck. And that was really cool. And so you can take pictures or photos of him, and then when you print them out, you can play a synthesizer. And so I think that what would happen is you would have a bunch of pictures of a robot.
Thank you.
So, Miss White, is photosynthesis or cellular respiration more important, and why?
Photosynthesis, because you need oxygen or you're going to die.
Thank you.
Out of photosynthesis and cellular respiration, which process do you feel is more important and would be harder to live without?
Harder to live without. I'm gonna go with photosynthesis.
Why?
Well, if we that process requires the sun, so I think without the sun, it's gonna cause more effect on other things. I think I'm gonna die.
If we were to lose photosynthesis and cellular respiration, which would you think would be more important?
Oh, that's a good question. And you can tell I have clueless. Photosynthesis, perhaps? Why? Because we're here and we need plants. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's great. In your opinion, which metabolic process is more important, photosynthesis or cellular respiration?
In my opinion, I think it's photosynthesis, because if you think of how life originated, the first organisms on our planet were photosynthetic, and so that's kind of how energy as a whole got here in the first place. And we depend on those animals, or not animals, but those photosynthetic organisms still to this day. And so I'd say photosynthesis was kind of the start to it all. And so that's what I think is more important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The group and I agree with Mr. Hutchinson when he said that photosynthesis is more important because it's essential to all life on Earth. And it has two stages, the light-dependent reaction. And in that reaction, energy from the sunlight is absorbed by chlorophyll and then is converted into stored chemical energy. And then the light-independent reaction, where the chemical energy is harvested from during the light-dependent reaction, and it drives the assembly of sugar molecules from carbon dioxide. So in the light-dependent reaction, the absorbed energy travels from the reaction center to the antenna pigment that contains chlorophyll A and boosts chlorophyll A electrons to a higher energy level. These electrons are accepted by a primary electron acceptor protein, and they pass to the electron transport chain. The energy that is absorbed in photosystem 2 is enough to oxidize or split water, which releases oxygen into the atmosphere, and the electrons released from the oxidation of water replace the electrons that were boosted from the reaction center chlorophyll. And as the electrons from the reaction center chlorophyll pass through the series of electron carrier proteins, hydrogen ions are pumped across the membrane via chemiosmosis, don't know if I said that right, into the interior of the thylakoid. This action builds up a high concentration of hydrogen ions, and as they flow through ATP synthase, molecules of ATP are formed. And these molecules of ATP will be used to provide free energy for the synthesis of carbohydrates in the Calvin cycle, which is the second stage of photosynthesis. And the electron transport chain connects photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. And similar to the events occurring in photosystem 2, the second photosystem absorbs a second photon of light, resulting in the formation of a molecule of NADPH from NADP, and the energy carried in NADPH is also used to power the chemical reactions of the Calvin cycle.
Everywhere you look, everywhere
science everything.
If you have a what's the word?
Metabolic.
Metabolic. What's the other word?
Process.
Metabolic process. What's the other word?
Redox reaction.
Metabolic process reaction. What's the other word? Metabolic process.
Redox reaction.
Redox reaction. Redox reaction. What's the other word?
In the next
You know what
50
a
years.
redox, you know what a redox reaction is, at least?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go ahead, tell me.
If I had a dictionary, I'd probably get.
Oh, wait a fact.
I'm cutting.
Cellular respiration, which do you think is more important?
I really don't like either of them.
The robots! The robots!
That's all I got.